No fluff, just raw reactions right after the final out. The Golden Stamos is polished up and somebody's about to take it home. A clutch hit, a game-saving grab, or just straight up hustle. We see you, but if you played like trash, you're getting the dreaded Nacho Night Award. We saw the missed calls, we saw the blown saves, the clutch moments, and the disasters too. Your comments are front and center, and yeah, we read all of them. Wanna let loose? Call in and sound off live. No scripts, no suits, no spin. This is raw, this is real, this is where the fans take over. This is the HITI Postgame Show with Todd Fox. For the fans, by the fans.
I'm a fox. My name's Todd.
Hey, welcome into another episode of the Todd Fox Postgame Show on the HITI Network. We are by the fans, for the fans, for the fans, by the fans. We're in the stands cheering with you as the Angels win on a freaking Friday back at the Big A. The Angels come home just to get a W against the Mariners. And I hate looking back in the rearview mirror, trust me. But when it comes to you could have swept the freaking Sox before coming here. So we ranted and raved about the fact that they sat guys before a day off. Let's try to turn the page. Let's not focus on the past. Revive in 25. Well, you didn't gain any ground. Houston won again, but at least you beat Seattle. And you get a little closer to them. You're 3 back of Seattle right now. 29-33, 11-15 at home. Good way to start the home series. The Mariners and Angels played the game tonight, 5-4, nail biter. You had 3 innings of scoring, literally. You had the 3rd through the 5th, and that was it. Nobody scored in the first 2 innings. Nobody scored in the last 3.5 frames. So this was a good game all in all. It was a close, competitive, high-octane game. A lot of chances for either team to take the lead or to extend the lead, and didn't happen for whatever reason, and we'll talk about it. As the Angels win 5 runs on 7 hits to 4 runs on 8 hits and 1 error. The win goes to Kyle, and usually it doesn't work this way. The starters really don't, both starters aren't involved in the games. Usually with the Angels, the way they play, it's usually going to the bullpen. But Hendricks, a guy who had a 5.34 ERA or something like that. Same thing with Bobby Miller. 2 guys who have been hit around a little bit. They played up to expectation in this one, really. Hendricks gets his 3rd win. Although he gave you a quality start, Bobby Miller not so much. Hendricks was 6 innings, 8 hits allowed, 4 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, while Bobby Miller was 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. Before I get into more of the stats, though, we got to play some Stukas. Well, the Angels got the win tonight, 5-4, and we'll take it. Game 1 of a 3-game series against Seattle. And again, you want to try to get these wins against the division because, again, this division has owned the Angels the last 4 or 5 seasons at least. So you want to get back at it a little bit. They started out rough this season, 1-7, but I believe they won their last 4. So they're getting close to that 500 mark in the division. So scoring plays went like this for the Angels, or actually to start the game in the 3rd inning. Crawford singled to right, would score Williamson to make it 1-0. Neto would single to left to score Taylor. That would be 1-1. And Chris Taylor is going to be the focus of tonight. He had a really good game. Probably the best he's had all season for either the Dodgers or the Angels. Tellez would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 2-1. Taveras grounded out to shortstop. Raleigh would score. It was 3-1. And, you had you should have got out of that inning, but, there was some mistakes right there in the outfield, some pitching mistakes there by our boy Hendricks. And then Darno would come up, though, down 3-1 and hit a moonshot, almost hitting the truck to make it 3-3. First home run at home. You're feeling pretty good. Sorry, I got a little heartburn right there. Had a lot of food for the graduation. That's why I'm still dressed up. But anyway, 3-3, and the Angels were looking all right. So start the 5th inning. Hendricks comes up, dude, a moonshot by Rodriguez, the dead center. Should have been caught, dude. For all you Adele haters, for all the guys that are out there and gals that say, okay, I don't like Adele. I'm over here saying his defense has got a lot better. I'm thinking, he can be a lot better in the box as well, showing a little bit more signs of life than last year. And then he goes and does something like this. We've seen him make diving catches the last week or so, really not making air, but then all of a sudden he'll miss a cutoff guy. And tonight, dude, he just mistimed that catch all the freaking way, whether or not he got cold feet and heard steps by the wall or whatever. That wasn't pretty. That led to a triple. Rodriguez was thinking about coming home, but he scored Williamson on that one, and luckily they left Rodriguez at third. And then Taylor would come up to double to center. Adele would score, because Adele got hit by the pitch, and or his helmet got clipped, so he went to first base. And then Taylor would double him in because Adele's speed's good. It was 4-4. Then Schanuel singled to right, 5-4, and you were thinking, okay, the Angels need more runs to put this one away. They didn't get any more. And you had a good look. The bullpen again came through again to beat the Mariners. And again, you had good pitching right there when you needed it. The hitting kind of stopped for both squads, so you can't single out the Angels. So with runners in scoring position, the Angels were 3 for 6. They leaving 4 men on base. Respectable, I should say. The Mariners 2 for 7, leaving 6 men on base. It wasn't that bad hitting, but the pitching was just good for both sides in the end, because once the starters left, Zephyr John did not allow a hit. You had 2 strikeouts. The bullpen itself, between the 3 pitchers, after Hendricks gave you a quality start, gave you no hits, no runs, only 1 walk between the 3 pitchers. Again, this is what kills me, folks. They could have used Zephyr John in Boston instead of going to Aljaguari, which they sent down today. They could have went with Detmers, did not do that either. He gave you another solid inning. And then Jansen was 1-2-3 in the 9th. Positives in this game, the Angels only struck out 7 times. So 7 times is low for them, but they only worked 1 walk. Cower came in, put up, he only allowed 1 hit, and Bizzardo was incredible. 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. Let's talk about the hitting tonight. Zach Neto went 1 for 4. Key, no strikeout. Schanuel should have took a first walk, but he got struck out on a questionable call, but he did have an RBI single. Trout went 0 for 4 and a strikeout that kind of sucked. Taylor Ward gave you only a walk. Soler gave you a hit and a run scored, but a strikeout. Travis d'Arnaud, 2 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, including the 2-run homer to tie it. Louis Renifo had another frustrating night, went 0 for 3. He's now only batting .207. Joe Adele went 0 for 2, including a sacrifice or 2 and a run scored. Chris Taylor, and he reached on an air. Chris Taylor, though, had the night of nights. He should have went 3 for 3, but he went 2 for 3 in the box. He was robbed of a home run, but he did have an RBI single and a double, so nice job for him tonight. And I think he did a good job out there, and he definitely was a big contributor, because a lot of people, since we've gotten him, including myself, when they would see Tim Anderson, Chris Newman, or freaking Taylor at the bottom of the order, you're thinking easy out. But no, I think they came through right there. Real quick, Isaiah on TikTok says, I hope you agree that Adele doesn't deserve to play center field. I don't think we have an option right now. Kyron Paris was the best defensive player out there next to Trout. And with Trout not being able to play the outfield, you got a defensive liability in right field in Soler. You got a defensive liability in left field in Taylor Ward. And you have a defensive liability in center field. So, man, and you can't look at Lugo as well because he's a defensive liabilities too. He doesn't charge the ball, doesn't dive, and when he does, it's off kilter. So defensively in the outfield, they're pretty bad at this point. They really are. And that's going to be concerning the more tight games that they're in or that they play in down the stretch. Now just being what are we now? 30. We are 62 games in, so we have a full 100 games to go. So we've passed that plateau of the 60 games now. Our next game is going to be game number 63 coming up for the Angels, as they are 29-33, 4 games under 500. Hopefully they can build on this win and take game 2 from Seattle. It's going to be an interesting series because Seattle's got some pitching problems of late. They have now lost, I believe, 4 in a row, if I'm not mistaken here, because they just got swept by Baltimore. They've lost 4 in a row. We have now moved into third place, 5.5 games still out of Houston, because Houston's deciding to win. Just like Seattle did last time the Angels were winning games, Seattle kept pace with W's in the win column. But that's what's going to happen. This division's bad. Don't fool yourselves in thinking that this division's good by any stretch of the imagination. The only thing is to think about is that maybe the Angels can take advantage of this team moving forward, or moving forward in the division, because this division does stink. Every team has problems, and it's just how can you exploit them or not be exploited by those specific warts that each team has. I think they did a really good job. Let's get into the awards, as we already played you we played you our what's it called right here? The Stukas. Let's do it one more time. I thought the bullpen did great tonight. As far as Sal saying about the defense, Detmer's being zoned, we've seen him in a zone before. It's how long can he keep it going? I really want to see him keep it going, and we haven't seen that yet from him. So I don't think he's going back to the rotation anytime soon. I think we'd have to lose a starter to injury, or we would have to have a really bad performance and a demotion. Now, who gets the Golden Stamos for best player on the field? Chris Taylor is that guy. I gave it away earlier with the night he had. Chris Taylor is that guy that you kind of like, you look at him and you're like, man, with the way you have your mouth open like that, because he always seems to have his mouth going, like it just seems like he's going to catch flies in there. And you kind of want to tell him, hey, man, just push your chin up a little bit. Keep your mouth closed when you're running the bases or in your batter's box. He just always looks like he's going to catch a fly or something. You should always tell Chris Taylor, never ride on the back of a motorcycle, because it won't be a good ride for you. But with that being said, he had again, struggling with the Dodgers. Dodger fans were saying he didn't get enough at bats. That's why he sucked. No, we saw him suck last year as well. And I still don't like the pickup. But I know he's going to give you some nights like this. I just wish he would give you at least a hit or a walk per game. I don't need him to go 3 for 4. But at the bottom of the order, if he's going 1 for 5 and it's a single and maybe he works a walk in there, or he's 1 for 4 with a single and a walk, that's beautiful. I'll take that over a 4 for 4 day because he's contributing. I just don't want to see the 0 for 4s, the 0 for 3s, the 0 for 2s in a substitution. I don't want to see that from him. And if he can be more consistent, I would start to lean towards, hey, that's not a bad pickup. But still, I have it under the box of, I don't like this pickup because he's not that contact hitter that he's advertised to be. I want a contact average guy. I don't need another 196 hitter at the bottom of my order. But he does get the Golden Stamos tonight, because without his contributions, the Angels lose this game. And again, you can go back to the Rodriguez robbing that home run. Had he not robbed the home run, it'd be 7-4, and he pretty much kicks the Mariners' ass tonight by himself. But again, he still came through with 2 big RBIs and 2 big hits. So either way, he gets player of the game tonight. And then you go into the Nacho Night, who didn't get player of the game.
Nacho Night, oh yeah, Nacho Night. Pile it up, load it high. Extra shame, hold the pride. Grab Award.
I think you have to look at a disappointing pitcher this year for the Mariners, and that's Bryce Miller. I'm sorry. So far, he runs his record at 2-5, 5.73 ERA. He's pushing towards 6. And the Mariners, for such a great rotation they had last year, have had some injury problems, had some bad performances. And this year, as they're on a 4-game losing streak, he was not the stopper tonight. Bryce only goes 5 innings, 5 earned runs, 6 hits, 1 walk. Not bad with a walk. And he only had 2 strikeouts, but a home run. He only gave you 70 pitches tonight. Not a good start for him. They had to go into their bullpen. That's good for the Angels moving forward. But, again, not a good start for him. You'd think if he had any better of a start, the Mariners win this game. So I think he gets to go to the night because there really wasn't that many strikeouts. The Mariners only struck out 5 times total as a team. So there wasn't like a, man, this guy really sucked tonight. He had the hat trick or the golden sombrero. So we'll leave it at that. Big crowd tonight. The Angels get the W right there. There's your awards for tonight. We'll get into a couple more questions, and then we'll get into all your comments right now. Cash says, do you think Detmers will start pitching 2 or 3 innings again soon instead of 1? No, I think that what they're going to do with him, Cash, is use him as a setup guy for now because he seems to be hot with the 1 inning, and he could ramp it up to 97, 98 miles per hour, stuff he couldn't do as a starter. And I think right now you're going to see him fit into that. What is it called? He's going to get into the the setup role, and he's going to take the spot from Brock, in my opinion. Ready to roll says when we bring it up more, when he continues to hit, he's got a long way to go. He hasn't really dominated AAA yet. And who are you going to replace right now at this point? Luke says Zach Neto prime. He sure is. Dupe says, say the awards again, please. The Golden Stamos, I gave it to our man, Chris Taylor. And then I gave the Nacho Night Award to our pitcher, or the pitcher for the Mariners, Bryce Miller. So let's get into the comments over on the other side. I'll keep an eye on the TikTok as we go along. So let's get into Rally Chris, and Rally Chris right away says, I don't care what you're doing right now. We're going to stop and have a drink. It's Spritz o'clock.
Spritz o'clock, Angels play. Win or lose, we toast today. Sip and cheer, no matter score. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more. Spritz o'clock, let's pour some more.
XX Not says, Zach Neto, my glorious leadoff king. He is really tearing it up at leadoff hitter. I was skeptical of that. I didn't really like it at first, but I will say that he's turning into a dynamic hitter at leadoff. He sets the tone. I just wish the other end of the bookend, meaning Louis Renifo, would pull his weight. If Renifo's hitting 260, 270, and you could put him at like the freaking 9 spot to flip the order to Neto and Schanuel before Trout, Ward, and Soler and Ohapi, man, that's a nice little lineup. It's not Murderous Row. It's not early 2000s or mid 2000s Angels, but it's getting up there, and I like it. And there's some contact. There's some power right there. But they really need Renifo to come through at some point. Jerry Reyes says Newman going to be kicking rock soon. Quite possibly. The fact that he hasn't already. Demetrio says Angels win. Play the Golden Dong song. It's a shit. That shit's banger. Just another Halo victory. I don't have it on me right now, but I will soon. Rally Chris says Angels won a game. Q Lombardi, baby.
What the hell's going on out here?
Yeah, no matter what, he's always pissed. Mike Trout says, Todd, I think we chanting sell the team is the reason why we lost 5 in a row. You also got Rally Chris says, let me check in on our buddy Gavin, or let's check in on our buddy Gavin. Let's see what Yummy Tasting Nut is up to right now. Where is he? Let me switch the channel over to his show.
On everybody, my name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area. How about a yummy tasting nut? If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area. Spent not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 years covering UCLA sports, specifically with the Daily Bruin, writing articles, conducting interviews, all that good stuff. Crack into a good source of protein with how about a yummy tasting nut? I love the nut. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Had me fired up.
Rally Chris says Angels scored 5 runs. We need those Deos, baby. Well, he's calling out everything right now. Here's your 5 Deos because 21 gun salute, baby. Every time we score a run, we have to play a Deo. Deo! 1 Deo! Deo! 2 Deos! Deo! 3 Deos! Deo! 4 Deos! Deo! 5 Deos! There's your 5 Deos for 5 runs, baby. Also, Stukas Andrew loves it. Mateo says I spritzed on my Master Boney. By the way, with the Mariners in town, I'm so tempted to have a personalized jersey with just Master Boney on the back. I know he doesn't play for the Angels, but that is one of the coolest names. You know, Master Boney, that's just a cool name. EQ says what we're all thinking, Patrick O'Neill sucks. He is a terrible broadcaster. Absolute garbage. EQ says, where's my Wayne Randazzo? He's calling games, I believe, on Apple or one of those networks. Luke says, only 4 games to go. Cue that thong song. No, let's not go there again. Run me some 5 honks, LV says. Boy, he's always asking for the honks, baby. Here's 1. Oops. 3. I'm messing up. All right, somewhere around there's 5. Sorry about that. Blew somebody's ears out. Also, Saucy says this was a good win. They didn't play perfect and still pulled it out. They have been able to win that way so far this year. LV says we're so back. Tyler says Julio is annoying. He is. Saucy says Adele with some Gold Glove defense. Yeah, that was terrible. Mike Trout said we're so back and screw Julio right there. Mateo doesn't like his showmanship. Also, LB says, Halo's taking the series. You can take that to the bank and deposit. Boy, he's cashing a lot of checks, though, lately. Also, wait, we won? Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to comprehend sometimes the way they've been playing. But we won.
We won?
Raleigh Chris, Master Boney had a yummy tasting nut. Albert says, no, Peachy's mommy's way. We actually won. Also, Bryce had too many. Kroom's card checking in. Team stays competitive. Easily could be over 500 or in first place with a solid pitching staff. I think it's more like hitting. Also, Tony C says, an awesome win for the Angels. Need to be more aggressive on the base pass like they were tonight. That was an exciting win. Our bullpen is locked in. Todd, keep up the positive vibes. No more thongs, please. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from the thongs. Also, if Bryce, not Bobby Miller, Bobby is in AAA for the Dodgers. Okay, thank you. Also, what does burnt pizza and a pregnant woman have in common? Someone forgot to pull out in time. Jeez. Mike Trout says we should have signed Alonso when we had the chance. He's going off right now. Demetrio says if the Angels get over 500 before the All-Star break, Todd Fox and a bra. Oh, my God. Happy Friday. Also, LV says Gavin eats corn the long way. Also, Dominic says great win, bounce back win tonight. Washington managed the game perfectly. That's for all the haters who blame him continuously for all the problems. Also, Luke says Kyle Hendricks is a ticking time bomb. 5.40 ERA with a 1.32 whip. What's left to say? Free Reed. I think it's an innings eater thing when it comes down to Reed Detmers and also Hendricks. Hendricks can keep you in ball games. So it means if you score 4 runs, he'll give up 3. Stuff like that. Or you score 4, he's giving up 5. I mean, Reed's got to be the next in line. I know you got other pitchers like Clausen, you got Dana, you got Eldegari. Those guys are ready to come up. But are they really ready to go in the rotation? Because it just seems like every time those dudes are called up, it's like relief and then you're sent back down. Joshua says, man, DFA Adele. He can't even catch a fly ball. Balls, and heartburn. LB says, Halo honks around the universe going crazy right now. How was Papa Fox feeling about beating the Mariners? He was surprised. He thought they were going to lose game 1 tonight. LB says, Halos got robbed of a few home runs tonight. They did. Also, the Mariners, I'm not reading that one. That's 1,000 times you've put that one, Grill Master. Why does a nurse always show up with a red crayon in case she needs to draw blood? You see why I don't read yours? Also, Saucy says, not a great outing by Hendricks, but good enough. Bullpen looked good tonight. They sure did. Tony C says, Chris Taylor came alive tonight. I really wish they would leave, or they would have Trout at 5 or 6 in the lineup. I hope they start stealing bases all the time. I really think the Angels are going to trade Ward soon. We'll have to see, man. Luke says, yummy, yummy, yummy nuts. Also, Halo fan on X says, can we DFA Soler? No, he's still got 2 years left. And if you're not DFAing number 6, you're definitely not DFAing 12, which would be Soler. J-Dog says, great win tonight. Just wish I didn't have to listen to Patrick O'Neill. Patrick O'Neill is god awful. Dan says, hola, Todd. Thank you for the tickets. Working on those LA giveaway shirts. Grillmaster says, umpire tonight was Lance Barrett, number 16. Not the greatest umpire out there. But, Grillmaster, he was better than the umpiring crew in Boston. Boston's umpiring crew sucked. They were terrible. Both Rangers and Mariners are now below, or both on a 4-game losing streak. Andrew says, routine fly ball. Patio's like, hey, here's a home run. Yeah, that guy's got to stop, dude. Also, Stack says, laugh my ass off. Where the fuck is Wayne Randazzo? Well, Wayne is calling games for, like I said, is it Peacock, Apple, one of those other networks. He has a contract to work Fridays. So every Friday night, you're pretty much going to get Patio. So, yay. Nacho Night goes to Patio. Luke Johnson says, also Demetrio says, Chris Taylor going to lead us to the ship, or lead us to play a championship. Tyler says, seriously, how does Patio have a job? I don't know. I have no idea. J-Doc says, Patio acting like it's the final out of the World Series every time we get an out. We won with Patrick O'Neill on the broadcast. Cue freaking Lombardi. Yeah, I wouldn't have figured that 500 ship. Also, Dan says, oh, I forgot. Me love you long time.
There's a lot of baseball left to be played. And the season starts tonight, which makes me so horny. And me love you long time.
Halo fan says, shutting down Cal Raleigh and avoiding Cal Raleigh and avoiding Munoz is huge. Munoz will put this team to submission. Yeah, dude. That guy can hit. So anytime you could shut them down, that is very good, because he's been one of the guys that's been tearing it up and probably going to be their all-star right there. So we'll go with that. Grillmaster says balls in his mouth. Also, you get out of it what you put into it. Hold on, I'll play those in a minute. Former dog turd did well, CT. Also, Tyler says Patio has a boner for Julio. Every time the Halos play Seattle, he's talking about him being a superstar. Okay, nerd. Useless says, Locked on Angels being clueless, unoriginal, and stealing material. Locked on Angels, clueless and lame. Steal all their stuff, just parrots the same. No real insight, just stats to their shame. Okay, it's a good rhyme. Also, how about a yummy tasting nut, J-Dog says. Tony C says, I think we trade Renifo and bring up Christian Moore. He is on fire in the minors. Chris Taylor will start turning it around. Soler made a nice catch in right field. Smash the like button and share. Again, you got to see a little bit more from Moore. And again, they don't want to start his time, but it seems like it's going to be inevitable. And I think it's going to start probably around July or August. They're going to probably bring up Moore. Halo fan is not a fan of the awards with John Stamos. Luke says Detmer's throwing 97 miles per hour and a 25% strikeout rate. Get the man in the rotation. But see, they might have found that he's just a reliever. I don't know, man. We have to see. Also, Iron Giant says Roger Lodge enjoys tasty Gavin. Ew. Mateo says 714 tickets. And real quick, we got to play that commercial because it is brought to you in part by tired of paying service fees and taxes for tickets and concerts? Well, guess what? There's an alternative, and that is 714 tickets. Yes, 714 tickets is the price you see, is the price you get. Ron Holt has set up this website for you and for us as Halos in the Infield fans. And by putting in HITI in the promo code, you get 10% off of your purchase every time. Not just one time when you sign up. No, every time. And not just for the Angels, not just for the Dodgers, for basketball, football, hockey, and concerts. Use the 10% off HITI code as much as you want. Isn't that great? Plus, you get 5% more of savings off of your purchases for future purchase of tickets going forward. 714 tickets is awesome because, again, the price you see is the price you get, and you don't pay all these crazy service fees and taxes. If it's $28, well, guess what? It's $28 plus the 10% off you get by using Halos in the Infield, HITI, at checkout. So what are you waiting for? 714 tickets, 714 tickets. Tell them Halos in the Infield sent you. Also, Luke says, Todd, where's your Hawaiian shirt? I think Dan's got it because I couldn't go to the game tonight. I was going to a graduation. So I missed being able to be at Anaheim because the graduation was a little bit too close to game time, so I couldn't make it there. I was just watching the game. Andrew says Los Angeles Angels or Orange County Angels, Anaheim or California is more like it because right now, Andrew, we are the Los Angeles Angels of Western Hemisphere of the Republic of China. Mario says, we celebrated my daughter's 23rd birthday today, and while having dinner, we all stopped to watch Jansen close it out. She got an extra gift with a Halos win. Q Lombardi. Tell your very lovely daughter happy birthday from all of us over at Halos in the Infield, Mario. What the hell's going on out here? Absolutely. Rally Chris says Angels are like 26-9 when they score 4+ runs. It's all in the recipe, baby. Just score me some runs, and you got it. Balls, and Travis Dar, yes.
Time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Travis Dar, no, baby. Also, Tamir 20 says Zephyr John in the 7th, Detmers in the 8th, Jansen in the 9th. Very solid. I like that. I really like that. Patrick Ward says, so happy I could come to a game tonight, coming in from Texas. There you go, Patrick. I hope you had a good time tonight. Tamir 20 says, and Joe Adell needs to take notes on how to play center field from Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, it seemed like whatever, he couldn't do out in center field, Julio did it to perfection. Rally Chris says Angels would be in first place right now if they were averaging at least 4 runs per game. Absolutely. Joe Adell fielding, Q Lombardi. Oh, yeah. What the hell's going on out here? Angel Suck says Detmers was a boss, but Jansen again, ice freaking cold, or in his veins. Also, Gavin loves the nut protein. Also, Chris Taylor, 33, coming in clutch. Q Lombardi. Yeah, it's something I didn't have him on my bingo card. What the hell's going on out here? Yep. Also, tomorrow, Wayne is back, so we're happy about that. Silent E says, I traded Newman and Suarez in the show for Master Boney just because I can. Surprised the Mariners took that one. Joshua says it's time for start winning at home. Corey says, I've been hearing rumors the Angels are going to be sellers at the deadline. That's all it is rumors. It's way too early. We got to see where this team is before we start thinking, hey, they're going to trade or they're going to buy. Speaking of number 6, we got the win for number 6 on his birthday today. Jay Ram says, I think Gooby Goober is even worse than Patrick. He's bad, but I think a lot of it's scripted with him. So I wouldn't kill him so much. Angel Sucks says so much baseball left to be played, Todd. Just got to keep our composure. Yeah, I mean, you literally can't get out of line.
Come on, all right, everybody. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We've made a great effort so far. Let's just keep it up.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've come too far. There's too much to lose. We've got to just keep our composure.
Andrew says, we're so back. And then J-Dog says the Gooby line. Hey, that's my line. Tony C says Roger Lodge and Mark Langston is going to call the next 2 games on the radio. So if you want to hear more of Roger Lodge this weekend, there you go. Terry Smith will be up north for a graduation. Are you freaking kidding me? That is going to make your ears bleed. Because if Mark Langston says anything remotely funny, that hack, Roger Lodge, he's going to be like, so funny there, Mark. You are so funny. His voice, I can only take it in small doses now. That's why I haven't listened to anything like on AM 830, like drive time radio, like, because you got, on one hand, you got Trent Rush going, hey, I think that this team's got a lot of potential. And you got to go to OG's. OG's has the greatest pizza in town. And we're going to have a Hawaiian t-shirt on Friday, June the 6th. It's going to be great. And then June 8th, we are going to have those jerseys are happy that Gooby was busting out of his jersey when he put it on because it's a kid jersey and Gooby's so tall. And then you got Gooby just being like, hey, this is going to be a great homestand against Seattle and Oakland. Hey, and then Trout's going to have that launch angle and the exit velocity. Hey, so it's pretty bad, man. We do have some bad commentating, but at least Patrick O'Neill and Roger Lodge, I mean, God, that's the scummiest. Ugh. Yeah, stick to watching TV this weekend. I wouldn't venture on the radio. I really wouldn't. Dan Rios says Tatum O'Neal's brother is a douche nozzle. Rally Chris says, Mario, your daughter shares a birthday today with number 6. Silver and Black Gabe says, hot take, but I think we can sweep the Mariners. I would love that. I hope you're right, Gabe. I really hope you're right. And yes, Silent E does have the best profile pick. Andrew says, Todd, I dare I say the season starts tonight. Yes, you know what? I think you did, and you will, and it's true because it does.
We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
Jerry Reyes says probably going to be listening to the game in Spanish for those games. I would probably, in me not being fluent at all and being a lazy gringo and not being able to learn English as well as Spanish, I think I would get more out of the Spanish broadcast than I would the English. Andrew says, whatever happened to Terry Smith, Todd? He doesn't call in anymore. Yeah, that'll be changing someday soon, but I wouldn't count on it this month. It has to do with something else that happened. So we'll probably get our phone lines up and having Terry and our fearless leader, the Fuhrer, aka Artie Moreno, and others, Marcia, calling in, but we have to take a little time out on those for now, but we will have them back soon. Let's see. Miramontes Production says 26-9 when scoring 4+ is the key blueprint for success. Run support needed for the pitchers 100%. And I 100% agree with that as well. Grillmaster says, why should you never upset a pediatric nurse? They have very little patience. Good God. Popsicle sticks again. Silent E says, I turned on concept all trades so the Mariners had to take it, but I felt so bad they were making them take Suarez, so I figured I would give him someone at least a little valuable. I cheated. That's not bad. Mateo says, this is going to be the worst radio cast of all season. Yeah, it should be. The only thing worse would be Patio and not Gooby, but Patio and freaking Raj. Don't forget, I said the Angels will be 500 or over by the time my birthday comes around, July 25th versus the Mariners. You can take that to the bank and deposit it. Also, you have Grillmaster say fly ball to right field and time to drive with Honda. Take a drive. It's so stupid. Also, I made grilled pineapple for dinner tonight. Grilled pineapple with what though? You had to put that on meat. I mean, that's what she said, but grilled pineapple like on steak and stuff is pretty good. Also, Hendricks got the win. Congratulations, pal. Marcia. Yeah, I miss talking to Marcia. I know it's WNBA season, so maybe she's covering the games, but she was pretty awesome. This was one of our awards with her.
I need your seed.
Who's got the biggest biceps? Marsha. Who's got shoulders like a man? Marsha. Who's got a ring that's rich? Marsha. Who's got a thing for your
young surfers. Marsha, who put the tree off the grill. Marsha, who could slam a shack. Marsha.
Congratulations, pal.
Yeah, that's all women right there. Strange says Mariners only highlights were mostly Ichiro from 20 years ago. Mariners and Mariners fans eat shit. Never forget the brawl. And, you can go back to the Mariners having a 21-year gap in between postseason appearances. So, yeah, it does suck for the Angels not getting to the postseason the last 10 years. But, goddamn, they doubled that. So, Josh says if Jordan Adele or Joe Adele can stay hot, we're a playoff team. If he was contributing, let's see his numbers so far. I want to check in on his numbers. So right now he's batting in the 8th spot as a center fielder. He's batting .210 with 9 homers and 26 RBIs. If he was batting, let's say, .250, just .250, and he had about, I'd say, 14, 15 homers, and give me 45 RBIs. So 15 and 45, .250. If he's at that clip by the All-Star break, he's making progression. And second half, you might want to see him in a 7th or a 6th spot in the lineup. But, I mean, to say that he's an important piece, but I wouldn't say on the level to where it's going to make the postseason. I mean, he definitely needs the ball out. Because if guys like him and Louis Renifo get their shit together, this can be a fun team. They can do some things, take some pressure off of other hitters, and again, get better pitches to hit for the big guys.
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you got to take it somewhere, take it somewhere, Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just got to get it together. Get your shit together.
Tyler says you got to add pineapple to your Master Boney. Todd play the he's fat sound by the fat one. Yeah, where did that one go? Is it this one?
What?
Oh no, wait. No.
This fat son of a bitch is going to drown us all out.
Calm down, okay? All right?
He's fat.
Grillmaster says the Mariners are the only team in the MLB not to make the World Series. That is true. Luis Hidalgo says that brawl was Rendon's only highlight of his Angels career. Dude, that is true and pathetic at the same time. Again, as Angel fans, we've been trained to, even though a lot of us didn't see, which I did see, but a lot of fans didn't see Mo Vaughn's career. Look up his numbers. They were really good, but he's considered a failure. If you want to look up another failure, but they were decent numbers, Gary Matthews Jr. If you want to look up another failure in an Anaheim uniform, Josh Hamilton. You can look up CJ Wilson, although he gave you one good year of pitching, right? Amongst those of injuries. There's been players the Angels have signed that have been terrible. Some people say, Albert Pujols was terrible for the length of the contract, but he still give you like 20, 80, or 25 and 90, sometimes 100 RBIs. He had into 1,000 double plays, but still, those are numbers. What do we have to look at with number 6? A whole lot of nada. I mean, seriously, he sucks. Like, maybe I'm missing a bad contract in soccer because they have so many leagues, and maybe there's one that slipped through the Americans, rear view mirror or whatever, and we didn't see it because I don't know their contracts. I do know they make a lot of money. I mean, help me out here. Who has a worse contract in any sport? Who has been given so much money and did nothing with it? I mean, I'm sure there's some examples, but at least in football, they were able to cut those players and eat some of the salary and save the back end of the contract. With baseball, it's all guaranteed. Can anybody think of a worse contract? Like, as far as the value you got from the contract, like what the player gave back to that organization? I don't think there's a worse contract because you have a dipshit who shits on the actual integrity of the game, who doesn't care about the fans, who never liked playing the game, thinks the league and the game is too long and boring, and is constantly injured, diagnosing himself on top of it. I don't know if there's a worse contract in sports, not just baseball. I can't think of one that's worse. I mean, this may sound bad, but Aaron Hernandez, with all his CTE and murders, was a better contract than number 6. The Patriots got way more out of that guy, and he's over there killing fools. So they still won that contract. That's crazy. Oh, also number 6 birthday. Good for you.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Mateo says, I made grilled pineapple after I cooked the meat and I used it on the meat. Yeah, that is fire. Add some teriyaki or was it A1 sauce to that? You got yourself a hell of a meal right there. True says maybe Rendon will be back by Monday to play to represent for Pride Night since he's such a bitch. Yes, that is a great comment. I love that. That is awesome. Mariners. Oh, what happened? Yeah, I think you want to hear this one right here. Let me get back up here. This is for Mariner fans.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful. How terrible! Oh
no! Rendon took Gavin's credentials during the brawl. Also, you're ruining it. That's where is that one right here? Well, you guys are just firing back with all the freaking sound bites. Where is it? Goddamn, there it is.
My lips, you're ruining it. Ruining.
Also, D's nuts. Vernon Wells is a bad contract as well. Rally Chris says Rendon's best highlights with the Angels' career is that brawl. Fatty Upton is another bad one, but he did put up some numbers. 6 gets Golden Stamos for bad contracts. Luke Johnson, I agree there. Chris Davis contract was bad, but again, at least he had some years in between. Grillmaster does fire back with Rendon, Pujols, Dan Herron, Cozart. Dan Herron, look, I disagree with 2 of those. Pujols and Herron. Herron actually did pitch pretty good for the Angels when he was here. He did rack up a lot of innings. Like I said, Albert Pujols with the longevity. Zach Cozart you could put in there too. He sucked, but I don't even think he played much for the Angels at all. Anthony Rendon is the most ass player in the MLB history. This guy is a royal bag of penis cheese. That's disgusting. Rendon broke his water reading the comment. David Rosca says Seattle Mariners were 116-46 in 2001 and got bounced. You taking calls on StreamYard tonight? Yeah, if someone wants to jump in, why not? What the hell? Let me put that in here real quick. Just click the link if you want to get on. Let's see. Pac-Man for Seattle. Jesse Winker is still feeling the effects of the slap by Rendon. Dre Money says, don't forget Cokehead. Oh, yeah. I did bring up Hamilton. MLA says, ay, way, no pinches mama's way. We won. We're on a winning streak. Don't forget Hamilton. I already brought him up. Let's see. Also, real quick before, if anyone answers the call right there, literally, I have to get into these guys. Who's Max Market Pros? Well, let me tell you who they are. They are somebody that is Google certified that helps you build websites for your small business or average size business, whatever business you got going on, or if it's even a struggling one, I suggest you hit them up on their website because they can help take you to the top of search engines. They can help you build a website to be more professional, more outgoing, more reachable by potential clients and customers. Plus, you throw in the fact that if you have social media, they take you to the top. They know the ins and outs of the algorithms. They will help you out if you have a small little Etsy account, to a gardening company, to a plumbing company. Their whole thing is helping small businesses, especially locally, and you can get a discount by just saying HIT, I sent you over there. So check them out. Max Market Pros. They are one of our best sponsors, and they can help you get out of a jam. Grillmaster says Jerome Williams. No, Jerome Williams is decent, and they didn't pay too much right there. Manny says, was at the game and saw Perry sweating his ass off at the Don Julio Club. He's always sweating, though, Manny. He's a big guy. My bag got on late. No worries, Dre Money. Demetro says, anyone remember Darren Oliver? That dude was so good for us. He was. And another guy who had a freaking rubber arm, like my boy, one of my favorite guys out there, and I'm blanking on his, Scott Shields. Him and Scott Shields were awesome. Don't forget Aaron Loop, also Joe Blanton. Those are two. Yeah, but again, those aren't big contracts. Those are guys that, again, at least played. At least were on the field. I think Zach Cozart is the closest you can get to an absolute bust who didn't even see the field. Because one thing to see the field and put up numbers, whether good or bad, and it's another thing to just you can't make the field. And I don't remember too many games with Zach Cozart because he didn't play much, always hurt. And the same thing is obviously true for number 6. So let's go through the scores real quick as we start to wrap up the show. If nobody gets on, it's all good. Again, we'll try to have our boys call in at some point here, but we have a tough one. A tough one for the what is it? Our boys on call in. So it is what it is right there. We're not going to have any call-ins for our guests anytime soon. Like I said, we have to take a little pause on that, but for the most part, we will get back to getting there at some point because, again, you guys love the comments from our guys that call in and represent the owner, or is the owner, Artie Moreno, and others like that. So we're good. Also, True says, didn't we sign Dexter Fowler at some point? And again, he was productive until he got hurt. He put in some numbers, so it wasn't too bad with Dexter Fowler. And sorry, I was just mumbling there because I was trying to read something off right here. Also, you have Houston Street was decent. He was pretty good. Grillmaster says Gavin called to ask Cox for some yummy tasting nuts. Also, Janice says, heard Steve Phillips from MLB interviewing Zach Neto. Phillips totally ignored any mention of the team. Zach is a gamer, though. He is. If you haven't met him, Janice, get a chance to go to one of his autograph signings. Like, we're going to be doing an OC dugout signing with Logan O'Hoppe later this month. And Logan O'Hoppe is really nice, very genuine. I don't know if you saw the video of him playing baseball in the parking lot with just regular kids looking for autographs. And he wasn't playing with adults, wasn't playing with high schoolers. No, he was playing with like 10, 12-year-olds and younger. I thought that was so amazing. So nice for him to take time out of his own time and play. And Zach Neto, really cool dude. Very down to earth. Met him, talked to him a little bit. Signed autographs for free for my kids. So very, very cool guy. Zach is a stand-up dude, but he is a gamer. That dude wants to win. He's going to be the leader and El Capitan of this team at some point. Luis Hidalgo says Scott Shields, Brendan Donnelly, K-Rod, Troy Percival, good times. Yeah, I mean, again, those 4 pitchers, I mean, all you had to do was pitch 5 innings. Just 5 innings, man. I mean, you think about that 2002 World Series team. Scott Shields wasn't on that team, I don't think. I think you had Ben Weber in one of those spots. It was Brendan Donnelly, Ben Weber. Yeah, you just had to give them 5. If you look at those pitchers that they had, the Angels didn't have guys that would give you quality starts, really. They wouldn't go 7 innings, really. You had Jared Washburn. You had, Kevin Apier. Ramon Ortiz. I'm trying to think of the other guys. Aaron Seeley. And I know I'm missing another one. Damn it. Anyway, the point of the matter, the fact is, you only had to give him 5 innings max. You throw it over that bullpen, it was lights freaking out. I mean, the only bullpen I could think that was as good as that Angels 2002 team was probably the 2013 or 14 or 15 Kansas City Royals. I mean, they were just as comparable, except they didn't have a guy that was just unhittable like Frankie, but most of their dudes were very close to that. That was a really, really crazy team to try to hit, and that's why they went to 2 World Series back to back. Let's see. We got remember Kevin Jepson, Fernando Salas, Ernesto Friere. Yeah, those aren't good guys. How about Gio Urshela? He did play enough for us, though. Tim Anderson, Franklin Barreto. Also, only guy I remember the name was Michael Kahn in our bullpen. Yeah, he didn't play much for us either, but it wasn't a huge contract. Also, Wade Davis was unhittable for that Royal bullpen. He was. And they had a dude that passed away too that was really, really good. He died, I think, in the Dominican. He was a young guy too. Mateo says, should we bring back the Goose or the Moose? I think both are retired, so it'd be kind of hard to bring them back. But I would take a shot at who's the guy the Rangers just let go and we had him. I forgot his name. God damn it. Oh, whatever. Giordano Ventura. Yeah, there it is. His attitude was bad, but there it is. Pilar. Thank you, Grillmaster. I would take a flyer on him right now, but it is what it is. Oh man, what a long night. What about the GOAT JB Shuck? He wasn't a bad player. I liked JB Shuck. And Grillmaster's right there to play Pilar, Grillmaster from the season he was out. Luis Pilar, yeah, I got that one. Courtney, what's up, Courtney? Mateo says, what about Luis Valbuena? Man, talk about a guy that he reminds me of. He was, I think, his last 2 years. He had seasons like what our boy Renifo is going through right now. Hit the ball hard, would always hit the ball hard at people, but then he would he would always line out. He would strike out sometimes, but he had some power, man. And he had some hits, and he would do a Taylor Ward every now and then. And yeah, rest in peace, Courtney says, because I mean that guy died too young too, and tragically too. I mean, you go back to the Dominicans and everyone wants to rob you after you made it out big. You try to come back over there, and it's just sad what happened to him. It really sucks. A lot of guys have passed away in similar fashion, which, getting their car chased and ran off the road. Raul Banez, I liked him, but we got him too late. Demetrio, that one hurts every time I think about it. But then here's the thing. That trade was supposed to be Kent Bottenfield straight up for Jim Edmonds, which is a dumb trade because Bottenfield was so fat and out of shape, and he was supposedly good, and the Cardinals gave up on him. We took him, but the little throw-in player was Adam Kennedy. So as much as I hate that trade, we would have never gotten Adam Kennedy, and we got Adam Kennedy because of that trade. Bottenfield didn't even last a season with the Angels. And Jim Edmonds went on to win 2 more World Series with the Cardinals, not winning one here in Anaheim, being a several-time All-Star and Gold Glover. We lost out on him, but we got Adam Kennedy. So it was like sort of like one of those trade-offs that I guess it actually did work for both teams. But the main guy was supposedly Bottenfield. He was supposed to come over here, be our ace, and he was nothing close to it. Love John Lackey right there. Thank you, Booba Bear's mommy. It wasn't a car accident. He was robbed, bro. They were trying to rob him. Do you guys remember the Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez? Yes, that would suck too. Peter Borges, what our boy God, it was not Fizzy, it was Hudler. Hudler would be like gorgeous Borges. And he was fast, and he just couldn't hit. And then when he did, he got some home runs, and you're thinking, man, this guy's good. And but he couldn't hit an average. I mean, he would fit in with today's Angels. I mean, he was always batting like 205, 210. And I will say this, because this is a shot at myself, but I was once compared to Peter Borges by an old coach and manager, because they told me, they're like, man, you've got the tools to succeed in the majors, which I didn't believe. I still don't believe. But he said, you play like Peter Borges or you played like Peter Borges. And this was when Peter Borges was still playing. So this is years later when I talked to him, and he was a scout for, I think, the Marlins at the time, one of my old managers. And he said, dude, you play like Peter Borges. Like you freaking, because he was like, what's your team? What's your favorite team? I said, it's Angels. And he said, you play like Peter Borges. Like you can't, Peter Borges was a highly touted scout or scouted player. He hit a lot of home runs. It seemed like the more levels he went up, his numbers went down. And he goes, he made it to the majors only because of speed and his defense. He said, you made it to the minors because your speed and defense, your bat kind of disappeared. Then when you're starting to get your bat, you quit. And he goes, I don't think, he straight up told me, I don't think you ever would have made the majors. I'm like, I don't think I would have made it to Double-A. I think that was probably my ceiling. I told him, but I remember he told me, he goes, yeah, you're like that dude for the Angels, Peter Borges, but in the minors. He goes, you're not the major league Peter Borges, but you're that kind of guy. So I was like, I'll take that, I guess. Because I did have power, but I couldn't put it together, man. I just couldn't put it together. Jason Vargas, yeah, that was another bad one. You had the Angels did bring in 2 players, Strickland and now Fulmer. Let's make it 3 with Pilar. Edison Volquez right there. I remember that dude. Bartolo Colon, who's one of my favorites. Stuka's one more time. I will get to that right now. CJ Crone. You guys are just bringing up a lot of old players. Reggie Willits. I just didn't like the way he was small, worked some walks, but he had no power. You know, a guy that one that'll throw you off, and I know Demetrio knows this because he liked that player, but I brought him up last year too. I loved me some Orlando Palmeiro back in the day. I thought Orlando Palmeiro was a perfect utility player, perfect 4th outfielder. He was not going to come in there and hit a game-winning walk-off. That's for damn sure. But he would work a walk. He would get a single. He would get a double. And he was a hard person to throw out on a grounder. But he was always consistent playing defense, and you could put him anywhere in the outfield. I liked him. The anti-player, like my Squid back in the day before Squid, was easily what's his name for Rob Quinlan. I could not stand Rob Quinlan. He stole so many at bats from good players. Couldn't stand that dude. Let's see. Mike Magante. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I remember that dude. Let's see. Also, Luis Polonia. I loved me some Luis Polonia, Tony. And you know what I'm sad about is Luis Polonia right now is in the Dominican, or he's in Puerto Rico, one of those countries down there. And he was living out of Florida for a little bit, but he went back to those countries. He's teaching winter ball down there. He's teaching one of the best teams down there. He's actually a really nice dude, but for whatever reason, I tried several times to get him on an interview. I know a lot of old school Angel fans would know him, not any new fans, obviously. Polonia played a long career, Yankees, Angels, believe the A's. I loved Luis Polonia. I thought he was a good, underrated player. Big time missing him, or missed him, and I didn't get a chance to get a podcast episode with him. Grant says, what's your favorite Halo memory? I like to go outside the World Series. I really do. Because that's for everybody is like, hey, 2002's pinnacle. Yeah. And I could even say, I think 05 would have been just as special if Josh Paul didn't drop that ball and lose all the momentum. Seemed like the air went out of the tires once that play was completed and the White Sox came back in game 2. Because I believe if we would have beat the if we would have beat the White Sox in that series, we steamroll the Astros in the World Series. Favorite Angel memory, I'll just go back to my first game I ever watched, man, at the stadium. Real quick, I'll walk you through it. I've told it before. Walking into Angel Stadium when you're like 9 years old, I think it was 9 years old, and my first game live, and we're walking through the 400 concourses at the old Big A when it's still closed up, and I get in there and I'm smelling the hot dogs, and I go through the tunnel, and you see the field for the first time. I watched it a billion times with my dad on TV every game, and to see it live, and it's packed because they were playing the Yankees, and we sit down there, and I'm watching the Yankees and the Angels go at it, and it's Tom McGrain versus, I think it was Tom McGrain versus Kenny Rogers. And, he had Jeter in his early days. You had, Bernie Williams, the Yankees, great squad right there. And, it was crazy because McGrain was freaking out dueling, or Kenny Rogers had a no-hitter, I believe, till the 8th inning. And so he gave up the no-hitter, and McGrain kept the shutout going. It was 0-0 in the 9th inning. And the fan, I mean, it was worse than what the Yankees did when they came in here. It was mostly Yankees fans. It was like, I'd say 65% Yankee fans this last time when they were here. But back then, the Big A was enclosed, and it was about, I would have to say, about 80% Yankee fans. And the Angels had gotten another hit in the 9th inning, 2 walks. Chili Davis is up there, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Fans are on their feet, 2 outs. Kenny Rogers is like in pitch number 120, and he misses low, and he's expecting a strikeout. He goes flipping nuts. Joe Torre comes out of the dugout pissed. The Angels get on the field, and they're booing. The boos are louder than the cheers because it's only season ticket holders and a few fans sprinkled around the stands like me and my dad. The rest is all Yankee fans. We're jumping up and down. Angels win 1-0 in the bottom of the 9th on a walk-off walk. That was my favorite memory because it's my first game with my dad and at the stadium. So that was pretty cool. I'll always treasure that one. That one was very fun to see live. You guys are bringing up Trevor Cahill, Matt Harvey, Trent Durrington, Andrew David Freese, Randy Velarde. Yeah, Randy Velarde was on the Angels at one point. Also, if you remember, Jim Leyritz was wearing the pinstripe periwinkles as well. Also, at that time, at the same time, it was former rest in peace. Why am I blanking on his? Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson was there. Angels had Eddie Murray, former Dodger, great. They had him on the team at one time. Does anyone remember Andres Galarraga? Big Cat was on the team for a cup of coffee. You had Cecil Fielder, an Angel, for a year. Matt Wahlbeck. There's a bunch of Angels I could go back and name. Damian Easley. There's Tommy Hansen. Jesus says, remember they would say who would win a rave between Trout and Borges, or a rave or a run. Yeah, because both of them were like super fast. I miss Trumbull and Josh Hamilton right there. And D. Gordon's dad was a reliever with those Yankee squads, 90s. Yeah, Tom Gordon was really good. EQ says, just kidding. I love the Trump bomb. Demetrio says, I can tell by the many eras of players y'all are naming when you guys first became fans. Yeah, it ages us, right? Also, Tony Phillips. Yes. Tony Phillips was one of my favorite guys, a very patient switch hitter, but he was cracked out of his mind right there. Also, Manny says 5 AOs for 5 runs. Yeah, we did that earlier, but I might as well play it one more time right here. It's actually Deos if you go back to the songs. I know it's interpreted by other people, but 5 runs, 5 Deos. There you go. Also, you got Brian Downing. Angels did have Mo Vaughn. Yeah, he was all right. Let's see. Amzish says, was that when the stadium was enclosed with a multi-purpose for both teams, Rams and Angels? Yes, it was. That was a sight to see, by the way. It's funny when I tell my boy, when I walk over there and where the big scoreboard is, and I'm like, hey, you see from the concourse right here where our seats are at 260, all the way around to the other side, it looked all the same, but it was like red faded seats. You had a big ass Marlboro sign on the left center field top deck with another A over there that fell during the earthquake of 94. So, man, good times. Good show tonight. Also, Ron Jackson hated Rendon. Alex Ochoa. That's a good pull right there. Manny says, best beer to get at Bruheim. I like that strawberry me. Strawberry me is pretty good. Also the Angels Ale is pretty good. So you can't miss with either one of those. They're pretty good beers over there at Bruheim. Try them out. They're pretty damn good. Get yourself a little discount right there. So that being said, I think we'll call it a night. The Angels win. Angels win. We're going to play you out with some Stukas. We will be back here tomorrow night. I might be a little late because we'll be at the fireworks show. I'm going to be at the game. So if you want to come by and say hi, well, come by and say hi. I'm in section 260. You can't miss me. I'll probably have my Todd Fox jersey on just for the hell of it, or I'll have a HITI shirt on. But you'll see me right there, the 260 side. I'm just on the right of the cameraman on the top side. So I'm not sitting in the seats. I'm just right there next to the rail. So just right in front of the goddamn Modelo sign. I'm right there. So those are my tickets. I'll be there tomorrow night and on Sunday. So with that being said, everybody have a good rest of your night, baby. Angels win. Thank you for participating. Hit a like for us. And a subscribe if you're not subscribed to the YouTube page. It really helps us out. Have a good night, everybody.